It's so neat. How are you doing today?
I'm doing just fine. How are you?
Oh, so good and so excited to learn more about the instrument in your hands. Can you tell us what exactly it's called and what instrument family it's from?
This is the trombone, the tenor trombone, and it's from the brass family. And you can see it's made up of the mouthpiece is here, and the air goes through the slide all the way down to the bottom, and then it comes up, and it goes through this tube right here, and then comes out what we call the bell right there. So that's where all the air and the tone comes out from the bell of the brass instrument known as the trombone.
Oh my gosh. And I heard when you were playing that the sounds were moving all over the place. You weren't just playing one set sound. How do you achieve that?
On the trombone, it's a brass instrument, so in order to get a tone, we buzz our mouthpieces, we buzz our lips, then we put a mouthpiece to our lips, then we put it on the horn, and then we change the pitch by moving the slide in and out and tightening and loosening our lips. That's everything in a nutshell. But I can show you more specifically if you like. Okay, so if we buzz, first we buzz with your lips, just like, I don't know, sometimes people call it raspberries when you go something like that. But you firm up the corners of your lips to buzz the pitch. And then you get a sound on the mouthpiece, and you can buzz anything on the mouthpiece. You can buzz a song on the mouthpiece if you like. And then you take the mouthpiece and you put it on the instrument, buzzing your lips. So they're all related. And then once you get the sound, we can make the instrument bigger by moving the slide out. And I'm going to turn sideways here so you can see a little more slide action. Let's see if I can find enough room here to make a difference. So that's one way we change the notes on the trombone, by adding tubing, makes the instrument longer, so the pitch or the tone goes lower. Or, like every brass instrument, as you heard, I can buzz on my mouthpiece. So many notes I can just play without moving my slide at all. You can play a bunch of notes. And then if you go, so the slide, you go down one position. Every position you add to the instrument takes it down what we call a half step. And so there are 7 positions on the trombone and everything in between. But as we go down the slide, we add a half step lower in pitch. And then you can start on a higher note and do the 7 notes. You can start on a higher note. You can start on a lower note. So that's how you get all of the instruments that are in what we call a chromatic scale.
Oh my gosh, it sounds like there's a little bit of math involved with all those half steps.
As you learn any instrument, it's like doing some kind of sports. You know, you practice running down the basketball court and dribbling and trying to get your coordination going with your feet and your hands and your eyes and where you're headed. We do the same thing on our brass instruments, on any instrument. As you know, as a music educator, it's about practicing something over and over again, repetition, learning, and your body and your mind learn after a while where everything goes, and your arm even develops a memory so that it knows where to stop after a while. You don't have to think, oh, okay, I'm going out to third position. Where's that? Fourth. No, after a while, you don't even think about that. But you just have to do it a lot until you know exactly where it is.
Sure, that absolutely makes sense. Oh, I'm so excited. This is such a neat instrument. I'm wondering, could you play some of the higher pitched sounds and some of the lower pitched sounds that are in within your range?
Okay. I'm going to start on what would be just sort of a middle note for us, middle F, and then I'll go up an octave, which is 8 notes up, so it's the same note, but it's higher, and then I'll try to go up to the top F. And then I'll come back down and take you to what we call the pedal F. And the pedal register is the lowest register on the trombone, which is where we intersect a lot with the tuba. That's our tuba register, the bottom of the instrument. Now, I can go down a half step for each of those notes, but the lower you go, the more grainy or gravelly it gets, and toward the top, as you can hear, it's almost like a squeal on top.
Oh, yeah, I definitely heard that, like a squeal or a wail or something like that. Wow, and it does sound like you have a big range of notes that you can choose from to play. Now, I'm wondering, could you maybe play a fast example for us today? Oh my gosh, you were moving so fast. There was so much going on in that. That was amazing.
Combination of moving your slide and tonguing, and for this particular little tune, there's double tonguing, where instead of going toot 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 toot, we go tuka 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 tum. So it's another technique that brass players use when we have to play things really fast.
So now I feel like that was just a little too fast for me. Is there something slower that you could possibly play for us?
Oh yeah, and again, slow, pretty playing is one thing I think most trombone players like to do. So,
Oh, that was lovely. It made me think of like a soft, gentle fog on an early morning or something like that. It was very, very calming. Wow. Now I'm wondering, and we've heard a little bit of some dynamic or volume contrasts. Is there anything really super, super quiet that you could play for us? An example of super, really quiet?
well, I hope so. I know that when you play with a microphone, sometimes it sounds louder than it really is, because that was pretty soft what I just did. So let me see what I can do here. So that's soft.
Yeah, that did sound softer and quieter. Oh my goodness. Now I'm wondering, can the trombone get really, really loud? Is that something that's fairly Oh yeah. Can you play something really loud for us today?
Yeah, I hope it doesn't blow the microphone out, because I'll tell you, trombone I think can play louder than any instrument. And actually, I think softer as well. We have incredible amount of ability to play in different dynamics on the instrument. All right, let me try a little something here.
So, Ava, I'm wondering, how old started playing this instrument?
Well, I grew up in Illinois, and in Illinois, the band program starts in fourth grade. So I was 8 years old when I started playing trombone, and my story is a little sort of interesting. My parents were not musicians. I didn't know much about it at all, but being a girl in those days, because that was in the mid 60s when I started playing trombone, actually early 60s, and there weren't a lot of things for girls to do. There were no girls' sports. The only thing that I saw around me that girls could do was to clean house and raise a family. There's nothing wrong with that, but I was really sort of very sad that I didn't have the opportunities that the boys did. So the band was appealing to me not because I got to play an instrument, but because I could wear a uniform and play in the marching band and all that. So I took the test like everybody does. The band director, thought I had like a great ear and all that. So I wanted to play the tuba because it was the biggest and the brassiest. And my parents said, no, that's too big. So I really paid attention and listened to the other instruments, and I just loved the sound of the trombone. And I think one of the things that I was attracted to was the fact that it could do those glissandos that we talked about earlier. And then I found out that the trombone was in the front rank of the marching band. So to me, that put it all together. I was going to play the trombone. So I started in fourth grade, 8 years old, and this is the end of my 59th year. I'll be starting my 60th year coming up. So it's been going on for a long time.
Oh, that's such an amazing story, and happy anniversary. So when you're getting ready for performances, do you spend a lot of time practicing, or is it kind of second nature now since you've been playing for quite a while?
I think there are a lot of things in my muscle memory that I can find pretty quickly because I've been doing it for so long. But no, I practice every day, and I think the older I've gotten, the more I have to really attend to basics and just making sure that my tonguing works and all these things, because the aging process affects every part of all of us. And so when you're very, very young, you have to learn, hopefully from a good mentor, good teacher, how to play the instrument as correctly as possible. And then you as the student, or I as the student, spent a lot of time just trying to do things as correctly as possible, try to get the best sound I could. And once I got pretty good at that, I had somebody you might know, the former director of bands at Central Michigan, was my grade school band director, Jack Williamson. And he was the person that really got me going on the instrument, because he noticed something in me as a young trombone player, because I had a really good sound. He never told me, he told other people, and then it got back to me, and it made me excited about, like I said, being a girl and not having as many opportunities for sure as the boys did. It gave me an opportunity to become good at something that wasn't just going to school, going home, doing homework, helping with the children or cleaning the house, that kind of stuff. So Mr. Williamson became my band director in 6th grade, and from that point on, I just really became super smitten by the instrument, and it was something that I could practice and get really good at. And I know this may sound a little crazy to some of you young people, but as I got better on the trombone, I became a better student. I became better at everything in my life because I found, I guess, what we might call some purpose, or something that was about me, that worked for me. And ultimately, as you know, it's become my career.
That is such an inspiring story. Wow. So I'm wondering, you've talked a lot about the trombone and playing on your own, but you also play in the Lansing Symphony Orchestra. Do you have a favorite part of playing in an ensemble like the symphony? Is there a reason why you enjoy playing with a symphony?
Well, I've done a lot of different things as a trombonist in my life. But the thing that, after being, I got into the to music through the band program at my school and high school. And then when I got into high school, my grade school music teacher, my teachers were very important to me as a young person. My grade school choral teacher, I wasn't in chorus, but she taught, general music. Her son played bassoon in the youth orchestra of Greater Chicago, and her daughter was an oboist. And she knew that I was getting serious about the instrument, so she invited me to go to Orchestra Hall in Chicago to hear her son play with the orchestra. High school, he was a junior, senior in high school, and they did Shostakovich's Fifth Symphony. And it was on that day, and I think I must have been in seventh grade, sixth or seventh grade, that I decided that's what I want to do. I want to play in an orchestra. So I sort of got myself better teachers all along and got into that youth orchestra myself a couple years later and went to Interlochen and all those things. But I always played, my first love was to play in the orchestra after, the bands and all that stuff were wonderful. And I loved playing in the bands too, but that became my goal, is to play professionally in an orchestra. And what I like about it, now here it's sort of strange, because one of the reasons I wanted to play trombone at first was because I wanted to be in the marching band where the trombones are in the front row. Well, in an orchestra, the trombones are in the back row, way far away from the conductor, which is probably good for the conductor, not to be so close to us. So I love to play Mahler symphonies, I love to play Wagner, I love to play all of these big, huge brass works. But I also love to play the chorales of Brahms and some of the Tchaikovsky's Sixth has a beautiful trombone chorale in the last movement. And so there are many, many aspects of playing in an orchestra that I love. But I think to answer your question more directly is, and since you are a horn player, when you're playing in an orchestra and everybody around you is playing, it's a different experience than sitting out front. You get chills up the back of your head. Your body is vibrating, and then you fit your sound in with everybody else's, and it's so exciting. I would say it's glorious. And so that's one of the things that has kept me playing in the orchestra, because I absolutely love feeling like I'm part of an ensemble, part of a big family of music makers, and it's an awesome experience.
Oh my goodness, it sounds like an awesome experience. Wow, what a story, and what a way to convey how you feel about it. That just, oh, you've inspired me. I want to go play in an ensemble somewhere somehow. So I'm wondering, I I don't often listen to a trombone by itself. Is there anything else you might be willing to play for us today?
As I mentioned, I love playing loud, I love playing fast, high, low, all of these things that the trombone can do. And since I'm, of course, biased, I play the instrument I think can do it better than any other instrument. But what I enjoy the most, what I love doing, is playing vocal style, like a singer. And so I would say probably playing some kind of a ballad or something really pretty with a great sound. That's what I enjoy doing. So I'm going to play a little tune here that some of you may know. It was a pretty important tune years back for youngsters.
Oh, that was beautiful. It sounded like, and I don't know if this is right, but it sounded like Somewhere Out There from the movie Fievel. Is that? Oh, that I remember that. That movie's from when I was about 5 years old.
Well, I know, I think it seems like it wasn't that long ago, but it is that long ago.
Yes, it's been a while.
That was from Somewhere Out There. What was the name of the movie? American Tail.
Yep, yep, that's the one. Oh, beautiful. I'm going to have to go back and watch that here. Oh, Ava, thank you so much for spending time with us today. I feel like we learned so much about the trombone and just it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
You're very welcome, and I hope that a lot of your young listeners and viewers out there take a look at the trombone as an instrument that they may want to play later in life.